So many are stuck living a mediocre life. Safe, comfortable, but very boring. How do we take that more courageous path in life? A life with excitement that meets all our needs, not just the ones that are easiest to. Well, today's video is all on this subject because it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you haven't got this nailed, then it's all a waste. Speak soon. Hi guys, my name's James Corsier and welcome to the Money Paradox podcast, where we're all about helping you become financially free so that you can focus on what you really want from life. Now guys, this feeds directly into this, taking the courageous path in life. Because it doesn't matter how much money we have, if we aren't able to go down the route that gets us what we really want from life, what's the point, right? What is the point? So many people I see around me spend all their time and energy just doing the same thing over and over again. And they never stop to think, why are they doing that? To what end? Is it because everybody else is doing it? Is it because they've always done that? Don't know. It's different for different people. But this video is really trying to unpick, actually, how do we break that mold and live the life we really want? Now, for a lot of people, they think, no, that's not possible. It's too difficult. It's too dreamy to go after what we really want. But 9 times out of 10, when I do this process with people, they realize it is absolutely achievable. And all of these crazy things like getting helicopters around the world and sitting on a beach for every day of the year, in reality, most people don't want that. And those that think they do, if they actually had the life that allowed them to do it, they probably wouldn't be doing that. Very quickly, they would get bored and they would create something that is much more meaningful. So firstly, look at your current life. What are you happy with? What are you not? And then think, well, why are you allowing those things into your life? And the key part of that is to think, why are you stopping in your current situation? And be really specific and honest with yourself. I find most people give themselves reasons and excuses that are different because they're easier to stomach. My favorite quote in the whole wide world is one by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? The reason why I find that quote so powerful is that my genuine belief is that why most people are scared is not that they fear not being able to do what they want, but they're scared of the reality that they have such an amazing potential in this world, and what they're currently doing isn't even getting close to that potential. And the reality of that is very unsettling. It feels a waste. It feels like we're being lazy. And so we often do things, think things, to help us move away from that reality. And what I want to do in this video is to really encourage you to step into that and think, what can you really do in this world? What can you do in your life for your own pleasure and excitement and those around you to get the most from it? Because it's only then that you're going to have a life that is far more exciting than the one that you may be on right now. Now, this isn't me saying what you're doing right now is boring and rubbish and stupid. I'm sure there's some amazing stuff that you're doing. but what isn't? What are you accepting in your life now that really you don't want? Then think, well, why are you allowing it? Some of the things that I get a lot, too scared. If I go to do it, something might happen. When you think through the reasons, always ask, well, what's the reason for that? So when people say, I'm too scared, why are you scared? Is it fear of failure? Failure is the best thing in life, guys. If you want success, if you want what you actually want from life, failure is what will get you there, not avoiding failure. Of all the people I respect in this world, the trending theme, without doubt, is that they've learnt to embrace failure. And in fact, they pursue it. They love it because when they're failing, they know they're on a path that of progress, that they're working towards what they actually want. If you don't fail, you're not pushing yourself. You're not taking a path that is stretching you. And therefore, you're accepting things in life. You're pursuing that comfort, that safety. And I always think, well, why do most people do that then? If that's not what they really want, why do we accept it? And I think, personally, people may have different views, is that we've stuck in this animal instinct from, many generations ago when it made more sense, that to take that path that was safe and comfortable and reliable allowed our survival. It ensured that we didn't go off and do something that was dangerous, that could kill us. Back in a time when dying was very possible, and if you took the wrong turn, it was very achievable that you were going to get that. In this day and age, how many things are realistically going to kill you? Very few. And you can make some big failures in life. And in reality, all your basic needs will still be met. A big one I get is around their job. So many people are scared to quit their job because of fear of what will happen. They go to do something else and fail, and then they're stuck. What happens? Then what happens? But in reality, most people, when they go down those paths, don't actually need to go back, and it succeeds. May not succeed in that first route, but in time, they get what they want. And even if you don't, being able to move back to what you had before is so easy. It's not going to happen to you maybe the next day. But if you think about it, the risk of you being able to go back to where you were is very low relative to the risk of you not getting what you actually want in life if you don't pursue it. So think about that. I'm going to say it again. The risk of you taking that more courageous path, jumping off and quitting that job, for example, it failing, and then having to go back and get into that same position again, or very similar. The risk of that is very low, and especially relative to the risk of not getting what you actually want if you don't pursue it. Because if you don't pursue it, the risk is almost guaranteed, right? And then what's the implication? We don't get what we want. We live a life that we don't want from this life. And we only have one, and I don't want to get all cheesy and esoteric, but it really is that case. I remember a few years ago, I got really unwell. To the point where I didn't think I'd be able to work again. I thought I was just going to have to kind of chill out most days, be constantly in pain, be very restricted on what I could eat. And it was only in that situation that I realized that many of my aspirations in life, there was a good chance I may not be able to do them. Because I'm now in a situation where what's possible for me was much smaller. And it was only out of that panic, that realization that what I wanted may not be possible, that I then vowed to actually make it happen, and then started a business from that place of being very unwell. Isn't that ironic? And often I find for many people, it's getting to that point of crux, breaking a threshold where enough is enough. I must do it. That people often then go on to do amazing things. And so sometimes when we're not put into those situations, in fact, I would say most of the time, it's very difficult to develop that strong mindedness to go after what we want. So if you're in that situation, I highly recommend almost creating it in yourself. A very powerful way to do that is start to think about what the consequences are if you don't pursue what you want. A very common and popular one is to fast forward to your deathbed. You're lying on your deathbed, you're sitting there, and you reflect back on what you've done, and you think, am I glad I did it? Am I proud I did what I did? Are there any regrets? And if there are, really sit into that. Think how that would make you feel. What could you have done? If you, at that point, could have gone back in time, back to now, and lived your life differently, taken different decisions, would you have? Well, what are you waiting for? Why aren't you doing them then? Think about it, because that's what will happen. If you fast forward to your deathbed and you don't change your current path, that's what you're going to think, that's how you're going to feel, and you're going to wish you went back to now and took a different path. Food for thought. Another common one is lack of clarity. Big ambitions, big dreams of what we want. But then when you probe and you challenge and you say, what do you actually want? What does that actually mean? It all gets very vague, it all gets very slippery. And the trouble with that is if the brain doesn't have something specific to latch onto, 9 times out of 10, you won't get it. Because the brain doesn't have anything to work towards, doesn't know whether he's being successful or not. So if you really want something in life, get specific. Okay, we're going to start again. A different word. Specific. That's better. Get specific on where you want to get to. Exactly. So if you want certain things in your life, what is it precisely? By when? How much? Who do you want in your life? Who do you not want in your life? What do you want to be doing with your time? The better you're able at doing that, the clearer your mind is at being able to work towards it and know what is moving you towards it or not. Equally, where are you right now? I always like to use the analogy of a treasure map. If I say to you, here you go, treasure map. On this map, there is treasure, all that you could possibly want from life. Now, on the face of it, that sounds like a great gift. But if I'm not telling you exactly where the treasure is on that map is useless. That is the specificity in what it is that you want. Without that, how do you know where to go? How do you know in which direction to move? But in addition, where are you on the map? You may know where that treasure is, but if you don't know where you are on the map is still useless. You need that orientation. So even if you're in a position where you don't like the reality of it, you don't like what you're doing with your time or how much money is in the bank, get to a position where you can confront that, where you can really sit with that and say, yeah, okay, that's where I am right now. No blame, no shame. That's where I am. Because only then can you then start to move in the right direction from that point. Next thing I want to talk about is, okay, so you know what it is that you want, but why do you want it? Because really, I think the why is more important than the what. The what allows you to know where to go, but the why is what draws you to it. Have you ever met those people in life where they're just on a mission? They're obsessed with where they want to get to. It's almost like their whole world is conspiring towards them getting to where they get to. And not just them, but those around them. Those people have very strong whys, because it's the why that compels us. It's the reason we're doing it. And the bigger the why, the clearer the why, the more exciting, the more energetic the why is, the more we will pull ourselves to get what we want from life. To the point where if it is so strong, it doesn't matter what the tactics are. You may have no plan. You may have no idea what you want. How are you going to get what it is that you want? But if the why is strong enough, all of that will just follow through. Have you ever had something in your life where you were so desperate to get it? It was such a must for you, right? That you just made it happen. You just found yourself doing things until you got it. And that is at the heart of why the why is so important. Because if one thing fails, you just try another thing, and then another thing, and another thing, or speak to somebody or another person until you get there. Not if you get there, but until you get there. And I look back on my successes in my life, others, that is really at the heart of how we've got those successes. Another thing I was reflecting on recently was I've achieved many great things in my life, things that I felt were really big challenges and lofty goals to work towards. And I always used to reflect back and get very frustrated in how long those things would take me, because I'd always set off wanting to get it within a certain time frame. And almost always, it would happen after the time I wanted it. Sometimes 6 months, a year after. And I would always feel like it was like a waste of time. But only recently I realized that is actually a good sign. It meant that what I was working towards was a real stretch for me. It really pushed me to that next level of what I actually wanted from my life. And actually, for each of those things that I worked towards, I may not have got them as quickly as I wished to have them, but I always still got them. Really connects into that very cheesy phrase of reach for the stars and you'll hit the moon. It very much is the case. And only recently, having gone through my situation, I've really seen that to be the case. So even if you're in a situation where you feel like things aren't moving as quickly as you'd like, or a goal feels too difficult, if you have that type of attitude that it's okay if it takes a little bit longer, but at least you know you're going to get it, what is that worth for you? Before we close out, I want to take you back to that alternative. A life of normality, of being similar to others, courteous, well-behaved, polite. Do you want that? Do you really want that? Do you want that, let's be honest, boring life? Comes with it some benefits. It's reliable, it's safe, it's what you already know. But is that really what you want? In my experience, people are so much more different than they make out to be. It's like people are desperate to just kind of be very similar and almost not expose themselves to, criticism. What is it? But the people I've met that are the most happy and fulfilled and excitable and passionate, they are the most crazy and unique people I've met. It's like once you get to the point where you're just totally cool with being you, it's almost like a lot of those fears that you may have in taking that path wash away. Maybe it's something to practice. Maybe it's something to look into. Lastly, I'll finish on when you get to a position when you really sit with you being unique, taking your own path in life, being unapologetically yourself, and being confident in that and loving who you are and the journey you want to take. What I've noticed is it's those people that are true leaders. And it's those people that those around them flock to look up to as they take their path in life. Because I think ultimately, deep down, that's what people crave. And they will look up to those that are taking that approach. Anyway, they're my thoughts on taking the courageous path in life. I'd love to get your thoughts and comments in the comment section below or DM me. If you find this content valuable, feel free to subscribe and like to check out my free weekly content each week. Until then, I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.